It's not every Vol fan who can turn his love for the team into an opportunity to run through the tee and inspire a first-of-its-kind children's book for the University of Tennessee. Well, that's just what my guest, J.R. Greene, has done. Welcome, welcome. His story about a magic tux is the inspiration for the first ever children's picture book from the University of Tennessee Press. Hey, good morning. It's so glad you are here.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
And tell me your story about My Magic Tux.
Well, My Magic Tux is the very first children's picture book published by the University of Tennessee, and it's incredibly exciting. It's been, you think about it, the university started in, 1794, 232 years ago? And this is the very first children's picture book. So it's a lot of excitement's going toward it. And
it started because of a tux or because of a game? Like, where did it all begin?
It all started in 1998. There was a negative comment about the Vols, and I was a student at Tennessee, and I was sad. I didn't like the negative comment. So I asked my dad, Dad, how can we tell the world that Tennessee, or show the world that Tennessee has class? And he said, you know what, son? James Bond seems to be pretty classy, and he's usually wearing a tuxedo. I said, brilliant. So I went out to a local thrift shop. I bought a white tuxedo. I brought it home. And then I grabbed 16 magic marker permanent, and I began to color all the sides. I got my mom's help to do the dyeing of the orange hat and the shirt. And the next thing you know, I had a Big Orange Tux. And I took that all the way to Tempe, Arizona for the Fiesta Bowl, which was the national title game against Tennessee versus Florida State, and an array of magic adventure occurred the whole time I was there. And at the very end of that story, I found myself on the field, and a field representative came up to me and said, who are you? What are you doing here? And I just smiled, and I said, I'm J.R. Greene. I'm the Big Orange Tux Guy, and I'm here to show that Tennessee has class. He then looked me up and down, Michele, and he said, wait, are you here to lead the team on the field? Now, that question's not one you get every day, but I got it, and I said, yes, I am.
You ran with it.
And he said, sir, lead us to a national championship. I put my number one finger up, put my other hand on the top of the hat, and I led the UT out, and we won the game.
Yay! And My Magic Tux, your Magic Tux probably helped it, right?
Yes, it did.
Helped us
the magic
win.
Marker, Magic Tux.
The magic marker, that cracks me up. And it's no longer just made a magic marker. You fine-tuned your tux.
Well, the original, great question. The original tux is actually now at the Graduate Hotel here in Knoxville, Tennessee. So they built a beautiful display for the tux. I also, transparently, I can't fit it in anymore. So I have a new tuxedo that I now can fit in, which is great. And it looks wonderful at the Graduate.
Oh, that is great. And this one's not with magic marker, of course.
No. And we grew up a little bit. That was when I was 22. I had no money. I was a student getting my MBA at Haslam. So
very clever, though. Very clever. And why the baseball jersey then today? We were surprised we didn't see you in the tux.
Yes. I'm sorry. You got to change it up every now and then. But I have a My Magic Tux jersey. We have a really special, what I'll call event coming up. Tuxie, the new mascot representing the book, My Magic Tux. So we developed a mascot to help promote and get children even more excited about the book. And the book's mascot was invited to be at the Smokies game on August 15th when they have a Feels Like 98 evening. And Tuxie will be throwing the very first pitch. So he'll be out there. And I know he's nervous. He's practicing to make sure he can at least get it somewhere near the strike zone. And then I'll be there signing autographs of any books for anyone that would like to purchase them.
Well, maybe Tuxie needs to read the book because it is about confidence and courage.
Yes. I mean, that's the whole piece about the whole story of where it came from. And I think one of the most amazing parts about how did the children book ever even come to life? Well, 2 years ago after ESPN then, so think about that, for 25 years this story was only just told amongst friends. Then Chris Lowe, an author from ESPN at the time, I think he's on 3 now, reached out, we connected, and then he wrote an amazing article in ESPN about the whole story. He captured all the amazing details.
Video and all?
Everything. I mean, everything. And then afterwards, that story published, lots of people read the article. And I was then invited to a tailgate shortly after that article released, and a school teacher, elementary school teacher in Knoxville, walked up to me. And she said, I read your story.
Wait, were you in the tux?
Yes, I was.
Oh, wow.
So I was invited to the tailgate in the tux. And some folks were like, oh, I read the story. It was so much fun. And at that point, she then asked me, she just said, hey, this story I read, I loved it. I loved to even tell our students about it. And you know what? This should be a children's book about courage and confidence. Well, it now is.
Oh, wonderful. And it's actually 2 books in one.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I think the story, because it's a long story with lots of little ups and downs that Tuxie goes through on this adventure. And we just found that after the book was done, it was long. And UT's press, they worked tirelessly, a lot of time and energy for over 2 years to bring this to fruition for Vol fans. And one of the pieces was the book was a little long, so we decided to break it up into 2 halves like football. So you have the first half that starts out like this.
I just caught that, 2 halves like football. Go ahead.
There you go. There you go. It's so you basically go through the first half, and then afterwards, because as a parent, I know I've had little ones before, you want to go to bed. You're like, I've read, let's go to bed now. And it keeps it that way. So then you can flip it over, and then you read the second half of the book.
And who are all the players on the back?
So on the back here, we have Philip Fulmer, and then right at the front, we do have T. Martin. So a lot of folks always think it's Peyton Manning, and it was actually T. Martin that was the quarterback for that year that we won the national title, and then Al Wilson, who was one of the key captains and one of our amazing leaders. And then we've also got Peerless Price and other of the amazing team members of that glorious championship team.
Gosh, what a fun book. Now, the teacher that approached you about the book, are you going to take it and go read it to her class?
In fact, I'll tell you this. It's kind of fun. We printed off, the University of Tennessee made the first run of all these. The very first book is being saved for her. Oh. I don't know her name. I don't know who she is. I haven't seen her in 2 years. But the very first book is hers. It's being reserved for her. We've got it safe at the UT libraries. And
whenever she comes forward
out there, we would love to know. But she was the reason. She's the inspiration of the book because she knows, she said in it, and then now, we've 48 hours since we just published the book, and we've had amazing excitement and a lot of fans supporting the book.
What's sales been like?
I don't know the exact number, but I know that they have been record-breaking for the UT Press. I know beforehand they were already record-breaking, and in a short period of time, they've already they've been breaking records, and they continue to. And with all the proceeds, going back to support University of Tennessee libraries and literacy across the state, it's just so meaningful to be able to help support UT libraries.
Absolutely. And the price is right at $27.98.
Yes. Did you just say the price is right because you knew I was on the Price is Right? Is that
No, I didn't know that. We may have to talk about that. Wow.
It was a double right there.
Oh, my gosh. The history behind, because you just became an author. Didn't know that you were on a game show, but... First of all, tell us about the price, the $27.98 of the book.
Yes, so the price is $27.98 in honor of the football player we just mentioned, Al Wilson, who was the key captain of that team, and then $98 for the '98 team. And so the price is $27.98, and it's really 2 books in one.
And where can we buy it?
You can buy this anywhere online, obviously on the online retailers, but I'd also say go to your local bookstores. I mean, here in Knoxville, we have some amazing local bookstores. Take your children there, let them explore, let them have some imagination, and you'll definitely find My Magic Tux on the shelves there.
Yeah. Where would you like to see your book? Do you want to see it in all the classrooms across the different counties?
I would say wherever the fans want it to be. Obviously, I do know there's an organization that's come forward to sponsor donating the book into all the but all the schools in Knox County and the libraries. So it should be available so everyone can have access to it. And I just hope when people read it, it makes them smile. You just brought up a great question of where to see it and what do people think about the book. Yesterday, I had an amazing opportunity to meet with Coach Philip Fulmer. And Coach Philip Fulmer was the coach of this, obviously, here.
We love Coach.
Yes, Coach was there. And he had a chance to read the book. And there were 2 words as he was reading the book that he walked away with. And he said, JR, enthusiasm and fun. And I think those 2 words really kind of build up the whole story of it. And I know it's a story that goes from beginning to end about someone going through difficult, as we mentioned before, freezing on stage, overcoming it to pursue a dream, which is all about imagination and dream. But it's fun, it's enthusiasm, and I hope people walk away from that when they read the book.
So is this like a dream come true? I mean, you're a first-time author, and, it's on ESPN, it's everywhere. Everybody's going to know who J.R. Greene is and what you've done, and they're going to know all about Tuxie.
Well, it's humbling. It's one of these things you're not prepared. I think it's one of these things where when you start getting, I think I was actually at the airport the other day, and they recognized the story, and I was standing next to a sign, but
you were standing next to a sign.
So it was like, wait a minute, I recognize that guy from the press release yesterday. But I think the biggest part is if it brings excitement, enthusiasm, and fun, which is what this story was about. I know where the story came from, which was about showing that Tennessee had class, but the day became so much more special. And then I think that my whole career in life has been that way, to where I've continued to take that courage and confidence. And Michele, I can tell you point blank, I've failed more than I've been successful.
I think we all have.
It's tough. I don't like failing, but I think it's one of these things where you continue to fail and you just keep getting back up and you keep moving forward. And I think the biggest part about this book is when you read through it, it's about the self-esteem. It's about having that courage and confidence to pursue what you'd like to pursue. So it's very humbling. Michele, I don't know what to think. I am a first-time author, and it's exciting, and maybe, there'll be more books.
I know. That's what I'm hoping for. So, and tell us about what's in this beautiful box you brought to the station.
This is just a fun little box that we put together to send to folks that have been helping to spread the word about My Magic Tux, and it's got little sayings all around it. A little courage goes a long way, and we all freeze up sometimes, and obviously something magical is inside.
The magic awaits you.
Yes.
We're going to open it up. We're going to go through. So what do you do with these magic boxes? My magic Tux box.
That's a great question because, I hope people keep them, for the folks that are able to find the boxes, they keep them.
How's that?
Oh, that looks great.
Yeah,
that's so good. It's got Tuxie and My Magic Tux.
And I got stickers.
Fun stickers. A little letter about Tuxie of who he is. Mm-hmm. The bookmark's one of my favorites. See, it's got the little charm. See the little UT.
That is precious.
Yeah, UT, the detail they went into, it's pretty awesome. And then if you read the back real quick.
Mm-hmm. When did you show some courage and confidence? Meet Tuxie with a QR code.
And I think that's the biggest part is what I'll say again, going back to self-esteem in children. And when did you show courage and confidence today?
Yes. And then there we have the book. But what I like the best is...
Got some stickers, too. Got some little hidden stickers.
More stickers. Is this supposed to be you?
This is Nicholas Child's development of Tuxie, the character in the book. So this is the Big Orange Tux Guy, but now what I'll call his name is Tuxie, and so he's a character from the book My Magic Tux.
God,
he's just a fun-loving character.
It is so cute, but I could picture you as this, like in the stadium with your
lost, scared.
Magic,
what am I doing?
Your magic marker tux.
Well, I mean that's it's one of those things about sometimes, and I think that's where the elementary school teacher that said the book is about courage and confidence. Well, the night before the national title game, I actually saw an individual named Kirk Herbstreit. At the time, I don't believe he was a household name. Mm-hmm. And I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, if I show up in an orange and white tuxedo, will you put me on game day?" That's just a fun question. He looked at me and said, "Yes." So now the game day arrives. I find myself in the stadium. I climb up the steps to the game day booth and I wave to Kirk Herbstreit. And I'm on the set and he looks at me. First off, let's just be transparent. His hand did go,
not
oh gosh,
him.
this guy showed up. This guy showed up. But then he smiled and said, "Come on board." Enthusiasm and fun. And the next thing you know, I'm on the stage with the game day crew. And that's literally where things pivoted, is that Chris Fowler then walked over, saw my tux, and he noticed the magic marker. And he said, "Whoa, you're not an official mascot. That's Magic Marker." And I went, "Oh, no. Oh, no." He said, "Man, that took a lot of guts. Would you like to come down on the field with us?" And I said, "Yes." And that's how I ended up on the field. And then the game day crew, which was Kirk Herbstreit, Chris Fowler, and Lee Curso was the original crew back then. They walked a little bit further. But as a Tennessee fan, when you're on sacred ground, which is the field, and you're looking up and just it's for anyone that's ever had the opportunity to be on the field, it's really special. And I was looking around. I just wanted to take it in. That's where the field representative security walked up and said, "Who are you?" And that's when I said, "Oh, J.R. Greene, the Big Orange."
Who did College Game Day pick to win that game that day?
My gosh, you're really going good at questions. I would say Tennessee. I would have to go look at the Vegas odds. Florida State, I believe, was on their third string quarterback. It was second or third string because they had an injury shortly before, but they had an incredible defense. They still had a good offensive line. So I really don't know. I'm sure it was a close game in terms of the
Your focus was on so much more.
I mean, yeah. Remember, I'm not an athlete. If you think about the world of athletes and brains, I'm in the middle.
And you're a big fan.
I am a huge fan. 4 generations. I mean, my great-grandfather was mayor of Knoxville, Tennessee.
Who was that?
John T. O'Connor.
Wow.
And his name was Punch because he was an Irish boxer. Where did the athleticism go? Where did the athleticism go? I wish I'd gotten the athleticism.
It's all right, but look how clever you are. And now an author of My Magic Tux. So what's next?
I think what's exciting is the next steps are going to be promoting this book. We're doing a lot of signings. We're going to be doing multiple events. And I think, it's just exciting. I know someone the other day just, asked me about, where can we find Tuxie? Where can we see Tuxie or you? And we have it online at mymagictux.com. We have locations of where we're all going to be. And I think it's just anywhere we can find it, but Tuxie's home, not but and. You remember the whole world in media, you don't say the word but, you say and.
And
Tuxie is in the library. The library is his home.
All right. It is My Magic Tux by J.R. Greene, and you can find it in local bookstores, and all the proceeds from this $27.98 book, which is 2 books in one, goes to UT Libraries. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you. This was wonderful.
And we'll see you on the bookshelves and in some homes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.